Google's new plan to keep us all safe. Peter's update on today's Not So Critical update.
That's me. Hi, guys. Google Drive may start locking your files soon. This is going to affect me personally, I have to say, because as an Englishman living in Malta, I do Jones for UK TV shows quite a lot. And occasionally, while I do pay my UK TV license, I do view episodes while I'm in Malta, and sometimes I get them through Google Drive. And I've always kind of wondered, like, why does Google allow this? Because they're basically, if you're not familiar with Google Drive, it's just a place where you can host files, and then you can share those files or make them public. And people go onto Reddit and Discord and whatever, and they send links to places where you can download episodes or movies or anything really. And Google don't seem to care. They don't seem to have, especially for universities, they give educational licenses where there is unlimited drive space. So you can host as much as you want. And there are people with terabytes and terabytes of illegal content. And even if that's not the case, there's people just start another one. You can create a Google account in seconds. So yeah. Do you ever use any of this kind of dodgy shit, Mike?
Shoot, I was away. So I
taking
do
advantage of me just babbling on.
Just talking. I know. I left. What were we talking about? No, well, I was surprised. I was surprised that you didn't take the privacy angle to this story.
What privacy?
Is it not a privacy issue that Google is scanning the files to determine what you should or shouldn't have in your drive?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, good show. Thanks.
No. I don't think so. There's reasonable things that they should do to stop illegal content, and this is pretty bad and pretty blatant as well.
So why is it different? Like we did a story about Apple scanning people's photo repositories for child sexual abuse materials.
Because that's client side. That's on your device that you're holding in your hand. Like if you uploaded something to iCloud and then that was scanned there then that's different. That's on their servers.
Okay.
And this is on Google servers. Maybe it's a good question. Maybe it's a sort of splitting hairs, but to me it's a fundamental difference.
Whether it's on the local device or up in the cloud.
Yeah. I mean, that is the difference. But now I'm thinking about it, like, well, practically what difference does that make? Not sure. But it does make a difference. And I'll stand by it. God damn it.
Well, it's an increasingly clouded distinction, right? We did an article not too long ago.
Good one, Mike. Yeah.
We did a story not long ago about the increasing subscriptionification of devices.
Efficacy.
What was there's a better word for that? I don't know.
Okay.
Devices becoming more subscription based, like you don't actually own the device, you subscribe to the device. John had a story that we'll probably talk about next week about Tesla using its inside access to do things to your car, even though you own that car. So it's not as clear a line, I think, anymore as like, I own this device, it's mine, but you have physical control of it.
Hasn't been clear for a very long time, I think.
No.
Because it's that line has been blurred long time ago. I don't know. They're not. Sorry.
Even if you don't look at the device, you're still using somebody else. You're using licensed software, so they could still argue like it's your device, sure, but you're using our licensed software, and our software terms of service say that we can do this.
It's one of your favorite pet peeves, isn't it? Your Google Music. Was it you?
Google Music. Very frustrated by that.
Yeah.
So the issue was, I think, a fairly early adopter of Google Music, uploaded my entire CD library, and people have bigger libraries, but I mean, hundreds of CDs, I'm sure. It was great. I would listen to it. And part of the problem is you can't use all Google services if you have a Google Apps account. you need to have a Gmail account. It is absurd. So I host my personal domain with Google. It used to be Google Apps, then it became Google something else and Google Workplace. And because of that, I can't get YouTube Premium using my email address. But my email address is where I uploaded all of my music. So I had to use my Gmail address to get YouTube Premium. But now all my music that they want me to access on YouTube Music is on my other account. And it's just this like huge disaster. I can't download it in good quality. And if I do download it, the names are all messed up. Like, I'm not happy about this whole situation.
This is what drives people to piracy, because I bet you could hop on BitTorrent and just download all of those at like 100% fidelity, lossless versions.
Is LimeWire still a thing? Can I get that on Twitter?
Old man Mike, back at it, yeah. LimeWire. Wow. I don't think I ever even used LimeWire. I think Napster was my first.
Oh, Napster. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but LimeWire came before that. That's why.
Oh, really? Now,
yeah, LimeWire was even earlier than Napster. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I think I'd probably. Well, we talked about AOL, right? Last time. That was like.
Yeah.
My $3,000 state-of-the-art computer.
You know what, though? I applaud that. I think it doesn't matter. Half the reason for spending a lot of money is to make yourself feel good. So as long as you were happy in your little bubble of technological
it was
wizardry.
A terrible financial decision. I could not have made a worse financial decision.
Oh, dear. Okay.
It felt great having the state-of-the-art computer for about 5 minutes until like this is when you would like buy a computer, walk out of the store, and then just throw it in the dumpster because it was already like outdated. On top of that, I was Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps, so it was probably like 2 months' salary for me anyway. It was terrible choice. But
how much did you spend on your wife's wedding ring? Like, I don't
2 months' salary, Peter. Obviously. What are you trying to say? You think I'd skip on something that important to propose marriage to the love of my wife, who I've been married to for 27 years?
When you bought that ring, the whole time were you just thinking this could be a really good laptop? Like, did
they even have laptops then? Were there laptops in
how many? 27 years ago. Okay, that's true. I don't know, a luggable.
It would have been like this big with like a
tiny. But I bet you were still jonesing for it even back then.
No, I wasn't super into like gadget stuff then. There weren't as many choices. Like I remember having a pager, and that was like, ooh, pager. I wasn't a drug dealer.
No. Yeah. Okay. What were we talking about? What was the story? Like it was the Google Drive thing.
I don't know.
I have a friend who's really into this kind of stuff, and he told me that the way that they make money is that they have like a hacked university account. So people make actual money through the Google Drive, and they sell accounts that can access the Google Drives with the unlimited storage that have just everything that you want on there. And so there's actually people, not very much. It's like a dollar or two or something like that for an account. But they just do it a lot. And it's all done through Google Drive. So bringing this back around to the original story is actually quite interesting.
Is that what we were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are things like I had an original, I don't think it was even called Google Apps. I don't even remember what it was called, but like one of the early domain email things. And I think it was like unlimited storage. It was free email accounts, as many as you wanted on the account. I wish I'd kept that original account because those would be awesome services to have today.
Yeah, and it's the other thing I liked about it was that it reminds me of the old school, like the same techniques are basically being used as were being used 20 years ago, or whenever I first logged on to the internet. So these it reminds me of like people exchanging files over IRC, and then Napster, people sharing music between each other, and then BitTorrent coming along, and FTP servers, the Wares FTP servers with tons of meticulously organized files, and this is just another version of that. Until those got all shut down and they weren't as efficient anymore. Then not all of them have been shut down, but not as popular anymore. They're never gonna.
The good old days.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's still happening. People are still doing it. It's the people with that kind of mindset are just going to find ways. Google will start restricting access to files, and I swear within 6 months there'll be some other technique using a different service like, I don't know, Amazon Music or something crazy, or some other unfiltered thing.
Get access to it on the dark web.
Dark web. The problem with the dark web is it's hard and it's slow. It's easy enough to use. Download Tor browser, install it, and boom, you got access. But it's a bit shit. You have to put too much effort in. Google Drive, just dead easy.
Yeah. All right, good conversation.
All right.
Thanks, Peter.